Furious farmers have hit out at Labour for having just 87 words on agriculture in their 131-page manifesto. The agricultural industry has welcomed a commitment from the Lib Dems and Conservatives to increase the UK agriculture budget by £1 billion and protect it. Steve Reed, Labour's Shadow DEFRA secretary, says Labour will treat the countryside with respect. But farmers have accused Labour of doing the exact opposite. They say would-be Prime Minister Sir Keir Starmer's plan for the UK disrespects farmers and have accused him of being out of touch with rural communities. And writing for The Express, Steve Barclay, Secretary of State for Environment, Food, and Rural Affairs, has warned British farming now faces the very real threat of a Labour government with absolutely no plan for our rural economy. He said, "A Labour government would be a disaster for farming, putting food security at risk for us all." Labour's 23,000-word manifesto's lack of an agricultural budget was described as deeply disappointing by National Farmers Union, NFU, President Tom Bradshaw. He said, "There are plenty of positives across the three manifestos, and it's clear that our constructive and open lobbying on many areas has been listened to. But the single most vital element is the agricultural budget. This isn't just money for farmers, it's the funding which helps the sector transition away from the old EU system, allows farm businesses to invest for the future and makes government's aims around sustainable food production, food security, the environment and net zero possible. It's funding to help underpin the UK's largest manufacturing sector, food and drink, which contributes more than £128 billion to the national economy and provides jobs for 4 million people. Our members will welcome the Lib Dem and Conservative commitments to increase the UK agriculture budget by £1 billion and protect it." Mr Bradshaw added, "We are continuing to engage with candidates across all parties to highlight the importance of a thriving homegrown food sector, and the need for resilient and profitable farming and growing businesses to underpin it." Tory candidate for North Devon Elaine Saxby, an NFU champion and one of Britain's most rural politicians, said, "Labour's manifesto only includes 87 words about farming, showing their complete lack of commitment to the countryside. Voting Lib Dem is a vote for Labour's neglect. We need real support for rural Britain, which is something only the Conservatives will provide. We've committed to an extra £1 billion a year in farm payments, fast-tracking farm infrastructure through the planning process and cutting the national insurance tax, leaving more money in rural workers' pockets." Greg Smith, Conservative candidate for Mid Buckinghamshire, said, "Farming is vital to the Bucks economy and our food security. We've seen how Labour in Wales have battered farmers. Now they have virtually nothing to say on farming and openly want to build on our countryside. I will always stand up for farmers and protect our countryside." Mike Prendergast, West Lancashire Conservative parliamentary candidate, said, "West Lancashire is a rural area with farming making up a huge part of our local economy. Farming is what makes West Lancashire the beautiful area that it is, and our local farmers work hard to put food on your table. It's clear from Labour's manifesto that they don't care about our countryside and our farmers. Rural Britain is mentioned once and farming gets mentioned just 5 times in a 131-page document. We have committed an extra £1 billion annually in support for farmers by the end of the Parliament. Labour refuses to match this support. They plan to raise firearms licence fees by 36% and introduce billions in other taxes. If they get their way, our countryside could be destroyed irrevocably. Labour doesn't care about West Lancashire's rural communities.